It's you and me, no place I'd rather be. Ding dong, hello, let's make this house a home. Welcome back. Here we are. Who would have thought?
I know, it's crazy to think like we're doing this again and like seeing the episodes get posted every time. I'm like, oh yeah,
Yeah, I'm like, oh, it's happening.
that's so strange. So we're back in our flower power outfits.
Yes.
Yeah, mine's like a full on like kind of like Little House on the Prairie style
Oh,
dress.
cute. Yeah.
I was like, is this
Nice.
too fancy? But it's really comfy. Look at these sleeves.
Hell yeah. That's how. Oh, you're kind of like it.
We're matching.
Yeah. I was going for like a Mamma Mia or pirate. I could use this shirt for. So multi-use shirt.
Yeah, I was just thinking. I don't know what I was thinking. I guess I just thought like floral.
hmm That's fair.
Yeah.
I have like nothing flower related in my wardrobe.
I have literally 2 items. I think
Nice.
that's it.
Hell yeah.
So how have you been? What have you been up to?
I've been good. This is our first podcast recording in my new place. So I've been good adjusting, just living on my own. So like coming home and it's just me and, but it's been really good. I'm in an area that I love. So I'm just enjoying it and like starting to create my own routines and stuff to like kind of keep on top of things, and it's going well.
Nice.
Yeah. How about you?
Well, I became an aunt since our last episode aired.
Yeah.
Yes, my brother had twins, which I'm just like obsessed with them. I'm just, oh my God. I love them so much. I feel like I've started making a little separate album in my phone because they've been sending so many awesome pictures and videos. So now I have this whole album dedicated to them in my phone. Oh my God, I'm so obsessed with them. They're so cute and so tiny.
Yeah.
But yeah, I get to meet them in July, so I'm very, very looking forward to that. Um, what else? I don't know. I've been apartment hunting myself. I've got some promising prospects going, so I'm hoping to be also moved. Or
Yay.
our parallel experiences continue.
Always.
Um, and then you'll love this. So I'm trying the ACOTAR series again. I'm trying it again.
Yes.
I am. I promise you. I have proof. Let me just grab it real quick. It was so funny. This friend of mine here loves the series, and she's like, "I'll let you borrow them." And we've been trying so hard to like. It's funny, like we meet up so much, and then she's like, "Oh my God, I forgot the books." Every time I'm like, "It's totally fine." And then she's like, "I'm driving a really far distance Saturday, but I can stop by your place and drop them off beforehand." I'm like, "Okay, what time do you need to leave by?" She's like, "Well, I can be at your house at 7 a.m." And I was like, okay. So I set my alarm for 6:50 and I was up and ready and got the books at 7 a.m. It was so
Hell
funny.
yeah.
She's like, "Here they are." And I was like, this is kind of one of my weirder mornings to wake up to, but and so she gave me this. It's just like a bag.
Yes.
And I have the first 2. So
Good. Oh
I
yeah.
will reread the first one, you know,
Yay.
knowing now that it's okay. It's okay. I shouldn't be mad. I'm not, I need to let it go, and then I'll read the second one. I love the covers too.
They're really
They're
nice.
so beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yes, I will be starting these
Yes, I'm so excited.
because I'm not the type to be mad about a book unless I was really I really didn't like it. But I liked the first book. It was just the last few chapters I was mad about.
Yeah, that's fair.
I'll reread it. I'm doing it.
Now that you're prepped.
Yeah. Again, I was just mad because I knew the answer to the riddle immediately. So I was just sitting
Yeah.
there being like,
Yeah, just I guess some
this
people just don't get it.
this suffering is happening for no reason.
Yeah, I think some people, I saw TikTok where some people were saying that like they just didn't. They were like, they'll tell me the riddle later on, so I'm not even gonna think about it. So like they just like skipped the riddle, like didn't like ponder it themselves. They just went, we'll find out, and then just kept reading. And I was
I,
like, how? A
how
menace.
how could you skip any part of a book? What kind of psychotic behavior is that? Excuse me?
They're just trusting the process. It's funny.
I hate that actually. I'm so mad about that. Read a book as it's intended entirely, even if you're mad about it.
That's what someone commented and was like, italics, always skip italics. It's like, I was like, that's like, those are the juiciest parts, I feel like.
What the fuck are you saying? Of course you skip italics, or you don't skip italics. That would drive me so nuts. Oh my God. This is making me think of this book I want to read. Oh no, I can't remember what it's called right now, but a lot of it is like, I think it's like her thoughts throughout
Mm.
it. She'll like the way the author wrote it is like sometimes things will be what's that, like striked through, so you can still read it, but there's like a,
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
stuff like that, which I think is really cool. But like you just saying that now about the italics, I'm like, oh my God, like are there people who don't read the strike throughs either? Like that's also really juicy bits. Or like the
Yeah.
parentheses. Oh no,
Yeah.
we're getting down a road I'm gonna be really mad about. I need to be zen when I start this book, Sarah.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I love reading.
Me too. I finished a book in a day yesterday, and I'm
What
fully
book?
obsessed. Did I tell you about, what's it called? So there's a book called Once Upon a Broken Heart, which is about
Ooh.
a girl who's trying to stop the wedding of the love of her life. He's like getting married to someone else. She wants to stop it. So she goes to like ask a fate for his help, and he's like, I will help you stop this wedding, but you have to like give 3 kisses when I say to
Okay.
whoever I say. Um and so like, and then chaos ensues after that. I can't keep up with it because it moves so fast that like I can't even explain the plot other than that, because it's a wild ride, and there's 3 books. So I just finished the second one. It was absolute madness. It's like enemies to lovers in the most insane way, and like the character herself, like I feel like she might make you mad if you read it, because she's not the she's not the brightest, but like I read and I go, you know what, okay, fine, like it doesn't you make your choices, it's fine. But like they're not like dumb choices, they're just, she's very one minded, I guess, and like doesn't consider the bigger picture of things. but
Yeah.
but it's good. Really love it.
Okay. And I here's what I'll say. This is my red flag when it comes to reading books. If I'm really liking a story, like I feel like I pride myself on having a very like focused in kind of imagination when I'm reading a book. Like I feel like I can really visualize what's going on. And
Hmm.
I feel like if I'm really liking a story or a character, I start to almost read it as if like a self-insertion, right? Like as if
Oh
I'm reading a
yeah.
play, and
Yeah.
I'm that person. And I
Yeah.
think most of the time I like it because then I feel like I empathize a lot more and I can honestly like feel the feelings and like it moves me more.
Hmm.
And then that was why I hated the last few like chapters of Cord and Thorns and Roses, because I was like, okay, I love this character, like I feel like this is me, like I'm connecting. And then for her to not get the riddle, I was like, but I know it, so this doesn't align with my
Yeah.
fantasy. So it's
Yeah.
just, which is toxic as hell and not true. So it's just like I'm trying to work myself out of it. So I appreciate you saying I might not like her, because that I need to like remember, like
Mm.
I'm not reading this like I don't know why I read books like that, like they're plays almost. Like I feel like
Yeah.
sometimes
Oh
that
yeah.
throws it off in a weird
No, I'm
way.
I'm every single character, every like perspective I'm reading, I'm like, this is me. This is me. This is
Okay.
me.
I'm glad it's not just me, because like oh my God, sometimes I'm like, maybe this is a little unhealthy, but it's just like I don't know, I get wrapped up in it, it's fun, it's an
Yeah.
adventure. How else do you read a
Hmm.
book? Like
Exactly. Yeah. I just read words and then what?
I know, yeah, like it's funny. I always think of I mean, this is kind of like a not great reference anymore now, knowing what we know. But I always think of that scene from iCarly where Sam is like, "Oh, it's like TV in your head." I'm like, "Yeah, it's awesome."
Yeah.
I live.
So
Yes,
true.
I feel like I do remember you telling me about that book too. So I think I have that written down.
Yeah,
Um,
so
yeah, I
good.
love it. I just finished. I was telling you about this book. More Than This.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Jonathan Nass, I think. It's the dude who wrote A Monster Calls. It was really good. Like I loved reading it because it's so different from what I usually read, and there were so many twists in it where I was like, what
Mm.
the hell is going on? Like I was like pacing my apartment after every other chapter being like, oh my god, oh my god. Um the ending, I don't know, I'm still processing the ending because when I read it I was like, I had an initial feeling of like, oh, this isn't really where I thought it was going to go.
Mm.
So I'm like feeling a little like let down.
Mm.
However, now having said what I said about self-inserting myself in these books and being like, oh, I know where this is going, I don't necessarily think that's true anymore because the more I've thought about it, the more I'm like, this actually works. This makes
Mm.
sense for like the theme of the book.
Mm-hmm.
It's just totally like not what I thought it was gonna be, but it wasn't bad. But it was actually really emotional. I was like, oh my god, I can't believe I read this book, but it was really good. And then I started another book right after because I'm doing that reading challenge of 15 books a year. And
Mm-hmm.
the next book I picked, I don't think it's a bad book. I just think I picked it at the wrong time. Like I'm on like a
Mm.
fantasy high right now, and I'm like, I'm not at the zenith yet. I should have picked something like that so that I can come down from it and then be ready to read this
Uh,
book. Because
yeah.
like it's like totally something else. It's like set in like the
Yeah.
30s. And it's like about the Great Depression and like New York socialites. And I'm like, this is so like this is too realistic now. Like I've
Yes.
gone from total like crazy fantasy out there to like now we're like all sad from something that was like awful and it's just
Yeah,
like it's a lot going on.
definitely.
Oh God. Oh man. So should we get into this?
Yeah, but
We got on a tangent there.
hell yeah. Yeah, today's topic we're just talking about LA and London, and we're gonna ask each other questions about each of them about our experiences living there, what it's like.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah. Great. So Spencer, what made you move to LA? I guess we kind of covered that in the first episode, but yeah.
Yeah. So I moved to LA. Honestly, it was kind of on a whim. I'd been talking about moving there for a while because I was coming out here for some like smaller film projects, which were so fun, and I was like, this is awesome. I love doing this. And I don't know, I just felt like there was kind of more opportunity for the type of work I was moving towards out here. So I like was thinking about it for a long time. Um but wasn't acting on it. And honestly was kind of putting it off because of a litany of reasons. I was like scared to go and be on my own. It was so far away from my family and my friends. Um, I was in a relationship at the time, so that was like a huge factor as well, and having to decide this and plan this. And um, yeah, it was just like a huge change. And a few things were accumulating at the time. In terms of like my mental health as well. Like I was not doing well. I was like not doing a lot of acting and not doing a lot of anything really, and would just like go to work and come home and like drink and smoke and just kind of like rot away in all honesty. So it was just like something had to give for real. And I just remember being like, this is not working. Like I need to be doing something I like. I need to be motivated, and I just don't know what to do. And then things kind of started to like change very dramatically. I broke up with the person I was with at the time, which was really hard to do. And then I was trying to get my mental health together, started going back to therapy and all this. And out of nowhere, a friend of mine who's already out here knew someone who was looking for a roommate. And I was like, okay, I'm in. And just like was like, sure. Like we had a few calls about it. And I spoke with the roommate and then I was like, yeah, I'm going. So it was like suddenly I had like 3 or 4 months to get my shit together. But yeah, I think the main motivators were I wanted to do acting again. I wanted to be in a place where I felt like those opportunities were very present all the time. I mean, it's like the LA is literally like an entertainment industry kind of town. So I was like, I've been wanting to do this forever. Like, here's an opportunity to do it. I need to change big time. And I need to feel like I'm actively moving towards my goal. So that's what I did. So then I moved out here. So yeah, those were my driving factors. A very chaotic time in my life, but it's been good. It's grown into something really, really good. So I'm
Hell
glad I did
yeah.
it. What about yourself? How did you get on over to London, Sarah?
Yes, it was to do theater. And it was my partner at the time was studying over here. And when they were finishing school, it was just a decision of where we wanted to live after that because they were interested in not coming back to Chicago, which I was kind of against. But then the opportunity to live in London was there. I was like, well, yeah, I'd love to live in London because they have great theater, and I just like love the culture and the vibes over here. So yeah, that's what brought me here, which was nice because I think I don't. I feel like I have a hard line of not wanting to move for someone. Like there has to be a reason to relocate, especially in such a major way. There has to be a personal reason, not just for someone else. And so that was like a nice like I wanna be here because I want to be here, which is nice.
Totally.
Yeah. So then I guess when you moved here, what was your biggest adjustment that you had to make to moving to LA?
Oh man. I mean, from a superficial standpoint, like the actual like physical environment of it, it's so different here. Like it's like warm all the time, sunny, like the landscape is different. Like it totally feels like night and day, obviously,
Mm.
to Illinois, where we're originally from. Um, and like the city isn't like how do I put this? I was thinking of how to put this. Like, so when I think of Chicago, right? Like
Mhm.
I think of everything like so close together, big,
Mhm.
you know, like just urban. Whereas like here, sometimes it almost feels like suburban a lot of the times. Like,
Mm.
um, I work in downtown LA, but it's like I don't consider that like the same type of urban as I was Chicago. Like it's definitely like the downtown area is smaller. It's not as like high risey. Like it
Mm.
just it almost doesn't feel like the city part of it doesn't almost feel exactly the same. Um, but it's cool. Like I feel so much more in nature here, like because it's really built like within the hills and valleys and like that. I love that part of it. Like always feeling like you're just surrounded by it.
Mhm.
Um, Personally, the biggest adjustment was honestly being so far away. Like my family is so tight knit. We've all lived like so close to each other our whole lives, and it was like I think I'm probably the farthest out, farthest to have moved at this point. So that was really difficult because there's such a huge support system for me, so it was hard to suddenly feel like I don't know, like we've kind of talked a little bit about it, like suddenly it's like a fear of trying, like a fear of succeeding, and it's like I really have to rely on me now.
Mhm.
Obviously they still help me out in ways as well, but like physically being here by myself is like has presented a lot of challenges in terms of needing to grow.
Mm.
But I also think I've seen the most benefits and proof of that progress since moving out here as
Mm.
opposed to have been near them, which like sucks to say because like I love being near them, but I'm glad I've had this distance to like focus internally and learn how to motivate myself and what I need to do. Not just for like acting in my career, but like how to just be with me. too as well.
Nice.
My God. What about you? What did you feel like was your biggest adjustment? Because you also moved during the pandemic. So on top of having a whole new, not just a whole new city, but a whole new country to adjust to, you were also doing it in the middle of like a really like hard time and scary time.
Yeah, I think in a way it was like, obviously it was a terrible time for everyone, but it was like nice in the sense of, because you had to quarantine, it didn't feel like I was thrown into something like, I wasn't like, I wasn't gonna work. I wasn't gonna be working the the first like year I lived there. I wasn't working. So it was like there was no pressure of like finding a job or like trying to like meet with people like immediately. It was very much like I can get used to like the different like the grocery stores and the different shops that are common over here. And like getting used to like talking, I guess, because I think one thing when I moved that really stood out was knowing that my accent is going to stand out to everyone that I talk to, which like moving here made me so self-conscious of, which now I don't care. And I like forget about it and people go, "Oh, you sound different." I'm like, "Oh yeah, I guess so, yeah." But I was so aware of it when I first moved, and that was a big struggle. So I was very shy in the beginning. But I think another big adjustment was like just the being so far away from everyone, of like it's like it sucks when like big life things happen and you're not able to be there like for others, or like family members pass away, or like friends have family members that pass away and you can't be there. I think that's like one of the most difficult things, which sucks. I feel like that like just piled on like throughout the past years. I'm like, please now. I think that's really, really hard. But other than that, any other adjustments here? I mean, yeah, I think because I had that slow acclimatization to acclimation to
I got what you meant. Either way,
yeah,
with you.
the slow acclimation to living over here in the culture and like just like being around different people, that made the adjustment a lot easier, which was really nice. Yeah, and like it really helped because I was like less anxious about doing things once the world opened back up. So that was good.
Yeah, so then once the world did open back up,
Mm-hmm.
I am also curious to ask you, I was thinking about this. Because, I mean, I guess it can't be that much different, but like, I'm just interested to know what like the protocols for safety wise were there during COVID. You know what I mean? That was something I was thinking about, is like, obviously I don't think our country's handled it like super, super differently, but
Yeah.
like, I'm just wondering, because like, especially like the thinking and culture around how people were thinking about the pandemic, I wanted to know if it was any different. But yeah, once it did open up and you were able to kind of go out more and experience it more, was there like almost like a second adjustment period for you?
Yes. Yeah, I think, well, because over here we had like, there was like a long period of quarantine, and then it started to open back up again at like the end of 2020, like December-ish. And that's when I got my first job at a retail store. So like that was my first time leaving the house, which like I realized I was starting to become very like agoraphobic. Like it was like really hard for me to leave the house. Like I couldn't leave, and like having to be around people just stressed me out. But like you would wear masks like on transport and at work, like just like there was no taking off of the mask basically. And then like I feel like I would put it on before I left the house, really. I think it would be like I would go to leave the house and put on my mask, and then so like I just never took it off until I came back home. And that was like, I like really don't remember. I feel like I blocked so much of it out, but I think culturally, like I didn't come across any issues of people doing like there'd be some people that wouldn't wear masks and stuff, but like there wasn't like it was like it was okay for the most part. But then at the end of December, like we were only open for like a month, and then everything got put down in another round of quarantine. So everything shut back down again. So then I was unemployed again for another like 6 months. And so that was again just like hanging out at home. And then once it opened back up again, that's when I started working front of house in the West End, and that was very much masks on all the time still. And then we would have to come in every day with a proof that we tested negative for COVID. So at that time, you could get free COVID tests if you just walk into a drugstore and you'd be like, I like COVID test, and they give you like a month's worth, and you just take it home and do the self-test. So you'd have to do that. If you did test if you tested positive, you were gone for 10 days. And then anyone you were in contact with had to do another test, just in case. That I think was it. And then like they slowly started to, I mean, like even getting customers in to see shows, we had to check their COVID tests as well and like know that it was negative. Which like
proof.
Yeah. And like we did that for a really long time just to be safe. And so like by the ending of that, when like the guidelines started to loosen up, like there was a lot of resistance by the end, but we were like, I'm so sorry, like we still have to do this, and they would get annoyed sometimes, but yeah. But yeah, so I think that went on, how long? I don't know how long we did that for, but I remember it being such a big adjustment when we started to like not wear the mask anymore. Like that was so weird for everyone, because we were like, it's weird to see everyone's faces because it's not what I pictured in my mind. And then it's like just a weird thing to get used to.
Totally. Yeah, we worked from home for like a couple of months at my job, and then we started going back in, and I would take the metro from like Naperville to Chicago because I'd moved back home by then. And there was no one on there. It was so weird, especially because like like it's usually packed.
Yeah.
But yeah, I got so used to nobody being there. And then when it started to open up again and all the people started taking the train again, I remember getting so annoyed because I was like, you haven't been here the whole time. Like this is the seat I always sit in. Like, why aren't you wearing your mask? Like it's so frustrating at first. But yeah, weird. Yeah, so then but then once COVID was over, well, like, declared over or whatever, and you kind of got to like go out and like explore your area more and like go do things. Did you notice like any more things you needed to kind of get adjusted to from there, or was it just kind of like, now I get to explore this city and it's fun?
Oh, let's see. I think I feel like I really blocked out those years. I think I do remember, yeah, we would explore a lot more, go to like parks and stuff, and then going to like pubs with friends from after work. But I think because my job was, it was very like high intensity of like hours. So you'd work 6 days a week. You'd only have one day off. So it was like, there wasn't much I did outside of work during that time as it opened up. And like, there was still that like resistance of like being closer to people again. I think the one thing I really enjoyed about the like quarantine itself is that when in public, everyone just kind of like steered clear from each other. Like there was space, and I was like, I feel like I have like my personal space is so respected right now, and like it's great. Whereas like that now going to grocery stores, everyone's like reaching their arms across you and like bumping into you, and I'm like, please no. I forgot what I was going with that. But yeah, I think there was more exploration. But I was mostly just busy with work, so I don't I like blacked it out really.
This is kind of a sidebar, but you saying that thing about the grocery store just made me like so intense because, and I talk with my friend here all the time about this, like I am so angry about the unspoken grocery store etiquette and when people don't fucking adhere to it. Like it drives me so nuts. Like I want to know if you think this way too. It's like if you're in an aisle, right? And you're like, okay, I know the thing I need is in this general area. Where do you stand while you're looking for it?
Ooh, I think about this a lot because I tend to stand on the other side of the aisle.
Yes.
So I feel
Yes.
weird blocking it, even though I know what I need. But like, if I need, I'll step back and keep it clear.
No, that's correct. And let me tell you why. Because stepping back while scanning the shelves to anyone who's looking indicates I'm looking. This is the general thing I'm looking in
Yes.
this area, but I'm out of the way so that if you know what you need from this part, please feel free to go grab it. And it also
Yes.
says, because I'm looking here and trying to give this person space, if you need an item behind me, you can just ask me to move because I'm not in a hurry. I'm looking
Yeah.
for things and like trying to stay out of the way. So yes, that's correct.
Mhm.
That is correct.
I'm
However,
glad.
so many people don't do that. They just like stand there. And then I feel terrible being like, excuse me, like, can I scooch in here for the person who's just standing right in front of it? Like,
Yeah.
because then they always like jump back. And I'm like, well, this could be avoided. Like, I don't
Yeah.
know
Yeah.
what to tell you. Like,
This
oh
is
my
on you,
God.
buddy.
Yeah, I feel worse about asking someone to move who's like actively standing right in front of the thing they're looking for, as opposed to someone who's standing far away
Yes.
and is in front of the thing I need. Because like you know what I mean? It's just different. It's different.
No, I agree. That's what it really. Yeah.
Oh my God.
That's so true.
Sorry, you like you gave me like I don't know, like some crazy flashback just then. Ah. Oh my God.
No, love that.
I apologize. Wow, that
No,
triggered me so
that
bad
was
for some
great.
reason.
I have to like plan out when I go to the grocery store just so that I don't get angry when I go. Like I have to go at times where I know it's going to be empty because I can sometimes going to the grocery store makes me so angry that I'm like I need to go at a time where no one's going to piss me off.
No, I agree.
It's
I
crazy.
just the other weekend I was like up on against my will. I was up at 5:30 and like oh my God, it was awful. And so I was like, okay, I'm awake now. I can't fall asleep. And so I was thinking about like how I had to go to the grocery store, and I was like, Trader Joe's opens at like 8 or something. I'll just go now. So I went like at 8 or 9 in the morning on a Saturday, I think, which was like
Mm,
so not for me because I am usually sleeping.
yeah.
But it was so nice. Like it was still busy, but there weren't as many people as normal. And I almost feel like people were a lot like nicer because they're just like, I'm
Yeah.
here having an easy, quick morning. I'm getting my groceries and I'm leaving. So it was like it was so much easier to like navigate and not get angry.
Mhm.
So
So
now
true.
that's a move early on a Saturday.
That's what I found because I used to go on Sundays and because it would just open up late, it would open up at like 11. So like I'd show up and everyone was waiting like at the front door for them to open at 11. And I was like, no, and they'd be so like fast and rude and I was like, I can't do this. But then going on a Saturday morning is so like the people that want groceries will get groceries and then leave and I'm like, this is the best.
Yeah, I think it's that idea of like, I know Sunday's technically like the first day of the week. I don't think of it that way at all. It's like,
Yeah.
you're prepping for the weekdays. So it's like,
Mhm.
oh yeah, I'll just go the day before. It's like, yes, but also you take your life into your own hands that day then, I
So
guess.
true. Yeah. Well, the weird thing is over here, um, Mondays are the first day of the week over here.
Like on the calendar?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, calendars
Really?
are Monday through Sunday, yeah.
As it should, as it's
Yeah, I know.
supposed to be, in my
It feels
opinion.
whenever I see a Sunday to Saturday, I'm like, oh, I don't know if I like it.
I know it makes me physically ill. Like I
Yeah.
hate it. I hate it. I don't know why. Like, well, I do know why, because you think of it as a weekend. It's the end of the week. Like,
Yeah.
I have issues. I have
Yeah.
many issues right now.
Should just move over here.
Yeah. I need to
That
get some
makes sense.
perspective. These are not the things to be upset about. Oh God.
And now time for a break. Our breaks have a visual component that can be viewed on our YouTube channel. This is my favorite area in London. It's a park that I live close to. There are many dogs. There's a nice little lake that you can do the little paddle boats in. It's a really large park, and on Sundays they have a market in the summertime. So I go here every Sunday, get some food from one of the stalls, and then I find a place to sit in the giant park on a really nice day. And you can sit in the grass. It's very, very green. and this is my favorite place to come to. There's a lot of dogs, really nice people. It's a great vibe. And now back to the podcast. One question I had for you was, because you're moving to this new place and like a new area, what did you do to like make friends and meet people?
Honestly, I think that's the part I'm struggling the most with. So I would say like I've obviously met some really great people that I get along with. And I would say like I've made a friend or two outside of like my working environment, but I struggle with that honestly. Like especially being in a new place, being like I have such a hard time like forcing myself out of my comfort zone to go do things. So a lot of the people I've met have either been through work who like I'm friendly with, or met through people I already knew who had moved here, or like through like I had a roommate when I first moved out here, so like through them. Um, but yeah, I actually struggle really hard with putting myself out there. That's something I'm trying to actually work on this year. I'm trying to do more classes so that I like have to interact with people.
Yeah.
But I have started going out more. Like I'll go. There's like they call it the reservoir here, because that's what it is. But you can like walk around it, and it has like a meadow area out there. So I go out there. Like I go to the library a lot. I try to like go do something new every weekend just to like get out of my spot. But I'm actually really, really bad at that. So I'm probably not the best to ask about it. But I would say like for someone who is struggling with that, like I have been, like I don't know if you said this to me recently. No, my friend said this to me recently, actually about the ACOTAR series, when I was yelling about how like upset I was about the end. She was like, "You have to get through it. It's because it just gets so good." She's like, "The only way out is through." And I was like, "You're right." So now, like, I don't know why that stuck with me so hard, because now I've been applying it to other things. So like that's kind of how my philosophy has been with like trying to get out and like do more things. Like I've started looking up like I think feel like this is like sad to hear, but like I'm trying not to be sad about it. Like there's a lot of like what's the word? Like it's not like it's almost like similar how they'd set up like I guess for lack of a better example, like it's like it's like a dating event, but like for friends. Like they do a lot of things where like you can meet up and like with people who do like-minded things, like craft events, book clubs, like stuff like that. And but like the idea is to be like force yourself to be social, and like make friends. So, like I joined a few book clubs that I go to, and stuff like that. Like I'm actually trying to look for a craft one right now, but I want one that's like more free form so I can just bring my own craft, you know?
Yeah.
Like I need to work on. Like I'm trying to make this productive also. So honestly, like sometimes it feels I'm pathetic, man, but you just you have to try, and like whatever. I'll the only way out is through.
Exactly.
So yeah, I've just been trying to get over like my fear of putting myself out there lately. And forcing myself to do things even when I'm scared about it. Obviously, if I really don't want to do something, I'm not going to do it, but trying to give myself new experiences.
Yeah, and I feel like that's very relatable, because I think like moving to a new place, especially like not for like school, like once you're outside of school, I feel like it's really hard to find the spots to meet people.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of life is kind of like like a meeting of convenience, like where you're thrown together, like you meet in school or
Yeah.
work, or the extracurriculars you need to do to push yourself towards the career you want. Like you just
Mhm.
tend to meet people very easily who are like-minded. But yeah, then when you're like on your own as an adult, it's hard. You kind of almost have to force yourself out there.
Mhm.
And even though, like, what was I trying to say? I was gonna say something like, I do honestly feel like COVID kind of shifted my way of thinking, even though like I experienced a lot of life before COVID.
Yeah.
But like, it just made it so like easy to just stay at home and like not do a lot of stuff even post pandemic. So it's
Mhm.
like I'm trying to kind of break that feeling as well. But
Mm.
yeah, honestly, it's something I struggle with and I'm still working on.
Mhm.
Um, but what about you? Do you feel the same, or do you feel like you've made kind of a good, because you basically kind of had to start all over too. You're in a whole other
Yeah.
country.
Yeah, I think
Did you know anyone other than your partner when you first moved out there? Like, did you? I can't remember if you knew anybody or not.
um no, we knew we had like a couple that was our friends that we're friends with who like helped us, like we stayed with them when we first moved to London while we tried to find a place, which was really nice, and like though they were the only people we really knew um in London. So that was really hard. Like I really struggled with that too because I was like, I don't know what to do. I tried doing I tried doing like the Bumble Friends thing,
Mm.
but like didn't really have any luck with it. And I was like, I don't. And I think part of that was that I don't want to get out of the house. I don't want to make that effort to like do that. So I was like, I'm just not happening. um, but then I think once I started working and like being able to work in like where theater is, was like nice to meet like-minded people that were like theater focused people. So like that's where I met like my very close friend, and like other friends as well. Like that's where like I started to like grow. It felt like a community kind of just in that building, which was really nice, and that kind of like helped kick it off. um so yeah, I think I found a lot of luck with just like work and like finding those people that you click with. But like next year I might be moving potentially outside of London, so I'm like scared because I have to do that all over again, is like finding people that are like in a whole new place. And so we'll see. But yeah, I think it's like trying to find the activities I like doing, trying to find like-minded people without putting a lot of pressure, I guess, on it. Like, so I think for me, it's like it's so much about the vibe of how you connect with someone, that like I don't want to ever force a friendship that doesn't feel right, or is like, I don't know. I feel like I dread so much making a connection with someone and then realize that I don't like them and then I don't want to be friends with them. So I'm like very much like a, if we vibe, perfect. If not, it's okay kind of thing.
I think it's interesting too because like, and I wonder if you feel the same way. Having, like I was saying before, having moved here is like forced me to do a lot of self-reflection and growth. And I feel like while most of me has stayed the same, there are things about me that have changed.
Mhm.
Um, and so it's almost like the way I approach, or maybe what I'm looking for in a friend is like different now too. Like,
Mm,
if that
yeah.
makes sense, like I almost feel like I'm more cautious because I'm like, I'm protecting this part of me that I think is growing into something that better. And
Yeah.
it's like I don't want to surround myself with people who aren't going to,
Support that.
yeah, because,
Yeah.
but like, I, not to say like it's on them to support me, like obviously I'm my own person and whatnot, but it's like I want to be around people who help me feel like I'm, oh, what am I trying to say, like, so like for instance, and we've talked about this, like I feel I've realized I'm a very sensitive person and I like need to recognize that when I'm going through these big feelings. Um and I know people and like have people in my life already who recognize that and kind of live it with me, but it's not on them, if that makes
Mhm.
sense. So like now as I'm developing these parts of me, like I want that same feeling of like, oh, like this is how I am, you get me, I'm not asking
Yeah.
you to like fix me or change me, but it's nice to have somebody who like gets it. Do you get what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, it's like that understanding, I guess.
Yeah.
I get you. I feel
Yeah. Like you're looking for people who are gonna help you protect it as well, I guess. I don't know. What am I?
Yeah. I think
Ah.
it's like being around the people that like bring out who you are or like who you want to be, I guess.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. Yeah. So, I'm my words. I need coffee. Yeah. I wanted to ask you a little bit about like, are there ever moments where you're I feel like this is kind of a downer question to ask, but I sometimes go through this, so I'm just wondering, are there times where you're just like, I'm done, I'm leaving, I don't want to be here anymore, like I'm going back? Like, are there ever moments like that you have? And if so, how do you work through them, I guess? How do you comfort yourself through it?
You've asked me when I'm on my period too, so I'm gonna get emotional. Okay.
Yeah, I'm setting you up, man.
Said it's time.
This is a takedown.
So I think for me, the one thing is that's like a truer above all things is that I would like to be a citizen here. And so that's like my direction, which like so like however I'm feeling, I know that like there's like there's an amount of period of time that I have to stay here to get that. Which is like another like 2 or 3 more years. So like that's always like the leading thing. So I think like through my time here, I've never had that like I'm just gonna go back home. But I'm always miss Chicago because I love it so much. And like I feel like I've been feeling it. Damn it. It's happening.
Let it happen.
Oh,
I'm sorry I put you here. Now,
No, it's okay.
Now I don't like the takedown.
No, it's okay. I think I think I've just been feeling it like very strongly recently of like missing it.
Oh no.
Shit.
I don't like when you cry. I'm sorry I did this.
No, it's okay. Okay. Whew. I'm just very emotional. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. I'm gonna say this so peacefully, okay? I'm pulling it in. Okay. I've just been on I've been on a path of recently just so like valuing the friendships that I have. And so because a core part of that is in Chicago, I think I miss that a lot. I forgot what I was like. I feel like I saw something recently that like just really like pulled me back into like the feeling of what it felt like to live in Chicago and all of us like being there. Maybe it's because I'm watching New Girl, and so it's like they all live together and they have very nice lives. But yeah, it's like recently it's very much like there was a moment like last week where I was very much like I could see myself like just going back. And maybe I will at some point, but like that getting citizenship here I think is like still such a big goal of mine just to have that option.
Yeah.
And yeah, because like I love it here so much. Like I love it here. I love the people I've met here. And like I think it fits my lifestyle. And like I don't know if it's just like nostalgia or like really like just missing Chicago. I think I was just seeing people's pictures of like being like on Lake Michigan, like being at the beach and like just like being outside in the summertime is like my favorite thing of Chicago. So I think like that's just been really putting me in my feelings.
Yeah. Yeah, I get the same way, especially because I feel like I need to do more work to make LA feel like home still. I feel like I still kind of am in that cycle of like I go to work, I kind of come home, I try to do things outside of it, but like I need to do more work towards that. But it's like I love the work I'm doing. I love that I'm on my own and doing my own thing. But yeah, there are moments, especially now that like I'm an aunt and I'm like
Yeah.
I'm gonna be missing a lot of that. Like I struggle with that so hard.
Mm-hmm.
Cause like I said, like in my family, like it really was like we all just kind of helped each other grow up, you know, like my my aunt would come over and take care of us, my grandparents, like we'd go visit my dad's family in southern Illinois more, or central Illinois more, and
Mm-hmm.
like you know, always having the family around was like so important, and feeling like they were all such a huge part of me growing up, like feeling like I'm not gonna be giving that to them. Ugh,
Mm.
like just kills me. But and like just missing my family and my friends in general. Like I loved our apartment in Chicago. It was so fun and like
Yeah.
and like I just miss Chicago in general. Like it's just such a specific vibe in the Midwest. Like I don't know. It's so, and again, I feel like once I feel more at home here in LA, I'll probably think differently. But like I just miss, I don't know, that feeling of like community even within like the city, you know, like we're
Yeah.
all working together,
Yeah.
and like even if someone's mean to you, they're not really mean, they're just like
Yeah.
aggressively caring about you. It's
Yeah.
just like it's more like you know, I'm here to help you, let me help you kind of feeling. Like I just miss that. But yeah, in the moments when I'm like I just want to go home, I also just think to myself like I haven't given I haven't tried towards all the goals I want to be trying towards. Like there's so much work for me to do here.
Mm-hmm.
And if like I just can get out of this fear of like doing well at the work, like it will totally change. And so every time I feel like that, I honestly feel like those are the moments I sit down and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna spend an hour like looking through like the auditions and stuff on Backstage today, or like I'm gonna spend like 30 minutes looking for like trying to figure out what acting class I want to take or stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like those are the moments I feel like where I try so hard to turn it into motivation to like make it like do what I came out here to do.
Mm-hmm.
Um yeah, it's like I just feel like it's always a constant battle, and I just wonder, especially because like again, you're in a whole other country, like
Yeah.
like how does that come into play?
Mm-hmm.
Ugh.
Yeah.
I wish I hadn't asked that.
No.
No,
That's
I'm
a
glad
good
I
question.
did.
No,
I feel
yeah.
like we learned a lot about each other and ourselves just
Yeah.
then, but
That
I
was it
hate
was a good moment.
crying.
Yeah.
It's like it's not even noon here for me yet, so
I
like
yeah, that's tough. I've been crying like all week, so it's fine.
yeah. Oh my God. I think too, just like again, since the babies were born, I've been reflecting a lot on my life. So it's just like, oh, I'm in my feelings in that way.
Very much so. Do you know what? I just was watching a New Girl episode before we hopped on, and you know it's gonna be cry. I don't know if you've ever noticed this, but when Nick and Jess break up, after like they argue about like the cleanup or like the building of the child's toy and stuff, and she like goes to go into her room, and then she does like the finger guns, and I realized that that was like her first time when he told her that he loved her, and that was her response, and I like noticed that, and I went, and then I started bawling. I was like, no, that was heartbreaking. I was like, oh my God.
I love New Girl so much. I really, really love it. Like it's so good.
Mm-hmm.
However, I personally feel like that initial Jess and Nick being get together or being get oh God, brain being together.
Yeah.
Oh God, was not long enough. I feel like we
Yeah.
needed
It was so fast.
a lot more of their relationship
Mm-hmm.
to see, just because like you once it kind of realized that's where it was going, that buildup was so great, having them was so
Yeah.
great, and then it was just like it kind of
Just tone it
plateaued a
down.
little bit, and I was like I just need a little I want more of it,
Yeah.
because and that's why like I hate the breakup episode, because like
That's tough.
it's not totally out of left field, but it does feel a little abrupt,
Yeah.
especially because like especially in those like I think about the episode where he gets all the money, right? and she's like
Mhm.
paying his bills and whatnot. And he's like, I don't want to use a bank, like four
Yeah.
walls. Like I can't remember what that is, but that
Yeah.
that moment. Oh my God. But then at the bank, when he's opening the account for her, but then
Mhm.
she returns it by being like, a service fee for what? Like,
Yeah.
and they have that awesome coming together moment. It seems like though they had a path to get to each other. So then when that fight was happening, I was like,
Yeah.
but I like also I get it though. Like it becomes so taxing after a time to kind of have to, like you want to be in a relationship where things kind of you get each other. So
Mhm.
it's got to be so emotionally hard to like constantly being like, why are we,
Yeah.
what am I trying to say? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
so, but I still feel like we just needed a few more episodes just to like
I agree.
have it. God,
Mhm.
God, so difficult.
Yeah.
My heart.
Mhm. That's okay. I'm speed watching it so that they'll get back together soon
Yeah.
enough. By the end of this week, they'll be back together.
Yeah. I think I wanted that too because of how chaotic the CC Schmidt storyline was. I love them, but oh my God, did they go through so much? Like,
Yeah.
oh God, so intense.
Mhm.
Yeah, now I just feel like I'm processing the emotions we just went through.
Same.
It's just hard. It's hard. It's hard to change internally and it's hard to deal with change externally, and to be doing both those things at once can just be so difficult. But it's like
Mhm.
I feel like there are so many things I've come to love about being here. Like
Mhm.
feeling like I'm part of an artistic community again is so nice. Like not that that doesn't exist everywhere else, but like this town is literally built around like TV, film,
Yeah.
entertainment, yourself as the brand, art. And so like feeling like I'm always constantly meeting people in that field and like what I'm interested in is being fostered is so important to me that it sometimes is like it's okay that I'm far away. Like I can always go home and visit my family and like
Mhm.
I set out here to do something, like I have something to work towards, which is not necessarily how I felt back home.
Mhm.
Um, you know, like it's just hard to reconcile all these feelings though at the same time sometimes.
Yeah. It's hard and it's uncomfortable too. Doesn't feel good to sit in that. But yeah, I feel like anytime I listen to Chappell Roan's California, it makes me think of you.
I felt personally called out by
Yeah.
that song. So I'm glad that you think that because like this is the awesome thing about music too is like I feel like the people I listen to always seem to come out with music that just like hits me right where I need it to. And I'm like like
Yeah.
Billy's Happier Than Ever album came out right during my really intense breakup and I was like
Mhm.
it's this is why I love music so much. It's just like you can make a song that seems like so personal to the artist, but the way that they present it, it's so relatable.
Yeah.
Even if it is personal, like you're just like,
Mhm.
I've been through that. But like I just love yeah. Thank you for saying that. Because
Yeah.
I also felt called out by that song.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just listening to it the other day.
Mhm.
Have you watched her Tiny Desk? Her NPR Tiny Desk?
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah. That was good.
it was healing, really.
Was. Yeah. I feel like that was one of the first things I watched of her.
Yeah, me
Cause
too.
like, yeah, cause I never. How did I start? I was all my like Spotify day lists kept throwing her into my like into the day lists and the playlists, and so I was like, oh, I'll just listen to it, and then like she popped up on my tiny desk, and I was like, okay, I'll watch this too, and then I was like, oh, it's kind of a vibe, okay.
Yeah, I think we listen to the Tiny Desk concerts at work all the time. They're so good. There's this new artist I started listening to from it. I think her name's Yaya Bay.
Mm.
I let me double check that. But yeah, so then I get them recommended at home because I listen to them too. And Chapels came up and I remember being like, she looks like a drag queen. Is this a drag queen? Like I was like,
Yeah.
this is amazing. Like this is so cool to me. Well, and then finding out all her looks are inspired by drag queens, I was like, okay, this is amazing.
Mhm.
But yeah, that I love her. That's how I found her too. Yeah, Yaya Bay, I think. Yabey.
Cool.
Her tiny desk. Oh God, it was so good. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Oh, Chapel.
Mhm.
That one and Coffee.
Yeah.
That
That's
one hurts.
Mhm.
Hurts.
It does.
Cuts deep. Yeah. I mean, we're gonna talk about her music anyway on here, but
Mhm.
I need to rein myself in because I could talk about her all day.
Same. Okay. I feel like this is a good ending.
I feel like we're coming to the cool down of
Yeah.
so, yeah. Change is
Amazing.
scary, but it's fun too.
Yeah.
The only way out is through.
Mhm. What room do you feel like we were in?
I mean, I'm physically in my living room right now, but it did feel like just when we would sit on our couch back in Chicago and just it was funny too. I was just saying, I watched this TikTok the other day, real quick. I want to say where it was like me and my sister sitting in the same spots in the car that we picked 16 years ago, and it made me think of how you and I would always sit on the same spot in the couch.
It's so true.
Oh man.
That's funny. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like we were in a living room, sitting on the couch with like blankets around us.
Yeah. When I'm back in Chicago.
I feel it. I'm gonna play that song when I go back to Chicago. I'm gonna bawl my eyes out. I'm gonna make a whole video based on that song.
Yeah. I can't believe
Oh.
that's the dude from Stranger Things.
I
Steve?
know.
Is that his
That's
name?
what. Yeah.
I didn't clock it for a second.
Yeah. I didn't notice it either. But then like I've been listening to that whole album and I really like it. It's good vibes. Cool vibes.
Yeah, that's on my to watch. Oh God, my to listen to list.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, it's so funny. I'll like find a few artists and I'll listen to them only like religiously for like a really long period of time. Like I'll hyperfixate on them, and then
Yeah.
I get into this like musical like butterfly cocoon transformation moment where I'm like, now I'm listening to a million people at once now until I find my next fixation.
Yeah.
God.
Hell yeah.
All right. We done for now?
Yeah.
Well, Sarah, thank you for being so emotionally vulnerable and honest today. I love you and I miss you so much.
I love you too, and I miss you so much.
Mm.
Yep.
We're okay though. We're gonna be okay.
Yeah, we're doing
We're
great.
thriving. We're
Hell
thriving and
yeah.
surviving. Look how far we've come.
We're doing it. We're doing it so that we can come back together one day.
Yeah, it's true. I know. I've got a eternal reservation with Sarah. We're getting buried in the same grave together.
Yeah, we are.
Oh man. All right. Should we say goodbye?
Yes. Goodbye.
Thanks everyone. Bye.
Bye.